Kanagitbihi and welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Dennis Allen. This is our last show of Season 6 here on APTN. Here at ICS, we enjoy producing shows about Inuvialuit, but like the spring hunt, we look forward to next season. And in the meantime, we'll bring you highlights from last year's programming, like Bronco Billy, the first Inuvialuit bronc rider, and Beluga Days of Summer with host Des Loreen. So kick off your skidoo boots and enjoy the show. Welcome to SUAANGAN, Our Strength, right here on APTN.
It's pretty well died. It's maybe there's 2 or 3 people that still do a little bit of trapping in our community, but it's all changed due to having to check your traps in 72 hours. You know that before we used to leave our traps for a month, and we checked them before the climb. There was, that the government used to tell us what to do. We can't hunt this at certain times, and they put laws into effect without really consulting the people.
Andy's passion for the land was a perfect fit for him to move into a conservation role. His first concern was the protection of the north end of Banks Island.
First, we tried to get in our claim, but we thought there's a way of having it protected. We wanted that land protected because it's where the caribous have youngs, and there's the foxes. Like my dad always used to say, that we saved the north end of Banks, for so that the animals could grow. And we tried to get it on our claim, but we couldn't get it. So the best protection we thought might be was to make it into a park.
The most important thing about being Inuvialuit is keeping the culture alive and active.
We have a say in what happens, what time is the, season's open. We could do all that now, so it's a lot different.
Andy's example makes it easier for the next generation to continue and build upon the work he's completed.
Rodeo, I'd say, is a very dangerous sport. Essentially, every time you crawl into that chute, you're risking your life, but you'll learn. You learn the hard way that the safest place is on top of that animal.
So has Billy managed to stay in the safest place?
I've been injured more than I'd like to mention, but yeah, when I was learning to ride, I broke my arm, so I started riding with the other arm. And after that, I got kicked in the head and got a concussion, but I lived to ride again. And I just never gave up, and that was one of the hardest parts of it was getting back up and getting on just for 8 seconds, just to get that 8 seconds.
I watched these elderly guys run their dogs. Then I was training my dogs. And I figured, I watched these guys, they were going this far. I asked how far they were going. Then I watched them, how they were traveling, and I figured to myself, well, geez, my dogs could travel about the same speed. So the first time we went over, we started getting ready. My dad parked kind of a ways from the starting line, and my dad never even helped me. My dad just stayed in the truck. He was shy of me, right? He thought I wasn't going to do good. Nobody helped me. And finally my uncle, Wesley Joe, came out and he started helping me. And we were having a race there, and I was in 3rd place. We had to go around the island. And the first lap we went around, I was in 3rd place. So then I watched these guys. They kept going by the deep snow. Then I seen the old skidoo trail. It was covered by snow. And this was the last part of the stretch going home. And I stopped my dogs and I led them to that old skidoo trail where it was hard and these guys were just going in the snow where it was soft, right? And my dogs followed that skidoo trail. And I passed the first team and the second team. And I won the race. The first race I ever got in, I won. And when I first came back, they didn't know if it was me or not, right? And when I first came back, my dad even jumped out of the truck. He was so excited that I won a dog race, right? He even jumped out of the truck and he wanted to help me now. Everybody wanted to help me after I finished the line, right?
Yeah, I got up early and I went fishing this morning, and before I start plucking geese. Small fish, but they're good for dry fish. I learned how to not to throw anything away from my mom, so anything I get, I save them and make little dry fish.
Must be nice sitting around in the morning fishing, eh?
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I went up early this morning. Small fish, but I make profits with them because my mom did not do anything. Yeah. Most of it. Right away.
Yeah. Good for snacks, eh?
Yeah. My little boy really liked dry fish, eh?
Yeah. I guess when you know what it's like to be hungry, you don't waste anything, eh?
Yeah.
SUAANGAN Our Strength will be right back with more of the year-end review right here on APTN. Welcome back to SUAANGAN and more from the year-end review right here on APTN.
The Delta is a maze of rivers, lakes, and creeks. To travel through the Delta, you must weave your way in and out of hundreds of little tributaries that eventually empty into the Beaufort Sea. The whale is cut into strips and left to drain overnight on logs. A good sharp knife is your best friend when cutting up a whale. The skin is thick and it's hard on an edge. You need to constantly sharpen your knife. One average size whale can supply about 8 or 9 5-gallon pails of muktak. In the old days when we lived off the land, muktak was a staple in our diets. We used all parts of the whale and made dry meat from the dark flesh. Everything was saved and used. The trip was successful and we have enough muktak to send to our family members scattered around the north.
I met a woman in Vancouver about 9 years ago by the name of Anne Meredith Berry, and she was one of the first women to be on an Arts in the Park project in Grossmorn in Newfoundland, and she had her field sketches there, and she was just was glowing. She just thought it was such a great experience, and I thought it would be great to bring some artists up into the northern parks and run a similar sort of program if it was possible. The one thing that would be different here is more of a cross-cultural aspect with the Inuvialuit people. So I was designed the project with that in mind, to have a mix of artists from different places.
My name is Ryan Taylor. I'm originally from Tuktoyaktuk. But altogether I've been carving since I made my first carving when I was 12 years old. Well, I work in all types of different kinds of stone, and Brazilian is easy to work with, and everybody likes the colors.
Third generation out of my family. I learned from my dad. Well, Ronnie and Daryl learned from their dad, which is my dad, and then I was a young kid watching them start carving and then watching my dad. He was always carving bone. Then I got interested in it, and our house was just like an art gallery. We got like like when I thought I was coming out to art in a park, I thought it would be like, I don't know, staying little. I have no idea actually. Then we have a gourmet cook here and everything. It sure is something else.
I hope someday these young people can go out on the land and look at the land that we got up in the Yukon. It's very rich and nobody knows about it. We are here now doing that, and this is what I'm really thankful for. It's a great thing for these young people. I wish they see what they got up in the Yukon, a very rich land where their parents been. This is what they're going to see now, and they'll pass that on, for sure. Really made me feel great because it reminds me of my dad when we came through there back in 1959, the dog team. And now they got chance, so I like teaching kids like that, young people. Let them know where their grandfathers and their fathers have been before, and they're stepping on the ground as they go.
Akina Kanawitbit Damopsi Kib Lucy, grad 2005.
Drin Greensy Shilikat Greensy Juk Drin Jet Oja Anjit Sho Ingli Masicho.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates of 2005.
After the ceremony was finished, we had a chance to speak with some of the family members of the graduates to find out how they felt about this special day.
Very proud.
Was she nervous at all getting ready for this event? Could you
I think so, yeah. Well, there's a big future ahead, and hope she finds something she loves to do. Whole life ahead of her, and just hope she listens to what Dad said.
Some of our other beneficial shareholders that work here, and just some of our other employees about careers and what goes on day to day at Welco. So
this particular company is jointly owned between the Inuvialuit and the Inuit of Nunavut. Beneficiaries from both groups work in this location.
Welcome to Welco Beals. Sure glad that you guys could get time to come over here. One of the reasons that we invited you over is so that you can look at some of the careers that Welco has to offer, and by no means are these all the careers available to you, but as you go through on your plant tour, there are all kinds of things that you should look at that you may find interesting.
Look at that, eh? Lift him right off the floor. This guy here, they call him Boy. That's Tim's son. Tim Mangatinu, our son.
You're doing the head pull, senior men's. Going for gold. Here they go. Here they go. Look at that.
The Western Arctic has produced some of Canada's most well-known Inuit artists, including the Rubin brothers from Polituk, Abraham and David. Abraham lives in British Columbia. He makes time in his busy schedule to come home and take part in the festival. Abraham's parents, the late Bertha and Billy Rubin, are well-known artists as well.
Really interesting just to see like all the other artwork and all the other artists and meeting so many new people, and yeah, it's just so amazing because I haven't ever been to a festival before, and so this is actually where my mom grew up in Nuvik, so I finally get a chance to check out where she was born and all her traditions.
SUAANGAN Our Strength will be right back with more of the year-end review right here on APTN. Welcome back to SUAANGAN and more from the year-end review right here on APTN. Inuvik elder Rosie Albert has dedicated her entire life to teaching and maintaining Inuvialuit. Many credit Rosie for mentoring them. She always has time for anyone wanting to learn the language.
Uvanga aniranga 1933 me kapa mai me. Aglan anaga
Two of Rosie's students are Marie Jacobson from the Cultural Resource Centre and Rini Airy from the Communication Society.
Or
Oh,
no.
White fox.
Oh.
30 years ago, Tom Berger came, and because Pierre Trudeau asked him to make a decision about the future of the proposed Mackenzie Valley pipeline. And he did something that was absolutely revolutionary. Rather than go in and decide on the basis of what the oil companies and what the government wanted, he said maybe it would be worthwhile to go and ask the people who live there and see what they think about this.
The Berger inquiry made it clear that the North and its resources belong to the people who live there.
Well, I come 2-3 times a week. I come here in the fall and do a little fishing, ice fishing, and then I go in the fall. Like in March, I go here and camping, and, you know, and when it's a beautiful day or afternoon, and come down here, and sometimes I set a few traps of muskrats, get few, and then enough to eat. Yeah, this year we're late because first in November we used to be out here sometime, and you know, this year we had to wait till the 20th. That's a long time. I guess it's so warm, and then nothing freezing. That's what's happening, even all over the place. That's in the Delta and on the Clavic side and all over, and even down south side. So it's a lot of changing lately.
It's a big change. Even the climate right now, you never know what kind of weather we get.
Since I moved to Banks Island about over 30 years ago, I've seen a lot of changes. But now, lately, it's happening too fast. It's not a gradual change anymore. It's just so sudden, and the weather is so unpredictable now, and you can't tell what's going to happen next day. You know, that type of things. Remembering from when I was a boy growing up there, I used to have to wear our parky all summer. You know, it was so cold. And
40 below was warm them days. Used to get 60, 70 below, I remember. Man, it was cold. Even just when you're traveling with Doctor, you got to run beside your sled all the time. So cold. You had to be dressed really warm too. We don't use skidoo boots like nowadays. We used to have mucklucks, and wool, or bear mitts, keep you warm. Everything now you use is store-bought.
My name's Aaron Kikwak. I'm lead guitarist. My job is to cut heads.
My name's Brandon Kikwak, lead vocals and lead guitar with this guy. I don't have any other background other than playing in this band and maybe a couple others, but that's about it.
I'm Jamie. I play the drums. What can I say? I play the drums. I'm there for moral support.
My name is Craig Allard, and I play bass, try to stay in time, and originally from Ontario. With these guys in Winnipeg. The rest is history.
We're from out of town, man. We're gonna play some state of the art.
I think it's important for everybody to understand that
everybody deals with situations differently on their own merit. For me personally, whenever I'm dealing with a tough situation or anything like that that's affecting me personally, you know, I look at it from a perspective that, okay, I've got a job to do, I've chosen this career, and a simple thing could be, you know, dealing with somebody that's got a major problem. You know, I look at it, okay, they're suffering from that problem right now. They're counting on me to assist them, to help them to get through it. And that I have to maintain my composure and my professionalism, because that's what we're being paid to do.
There's a project I kind of want to deal with is family violence, and try and make people aware that they can get help, and they can, you know, maybe, like I said, seek help in sort of different areas. I'd also like to be a corporal one of these days. It'd be nice. I passed the test and everything. It's just that I just need to find a place to go, I guess. And I really don't want to leave Inuvik, so just have to wait till the position opens.
They get to hang out, play some pool, play some games, do some of the workshops that we offer. Play pool. You can play pool. We're open 6 days a week, mostly in the evenings, and we serve anywhere from 100 and under youth a night. Our average, I think, is around about 60, something like that.
In Inuvik, there are not that many things for the youth to do, although recently we have a recreation center. It's still not as open as the Inuvik Youth Center seems to be. It's a pay system. The Inuvik Youth Center is open 6 days a week till quite late. I think there's some kids that are disenchanted with the school system that simply aren't attending school. The Inuvik Youth Center caters to all the youth in Inuvik, ages from 7 or 8 to about 16 or 17 years of age. We have programmed activities every night of the week, ranging from arts and crafts to homework night, to games night. So those activities are used on a daily basis by the kids of Inuvik. So there's an obvious need.
It's definitely very clear to anyone who's sort of here, like you mentioned, at 6 o'clock when the doors open and all the kids come rushing in and they're banging on the window, you know, at 5 to 6. They really, you know, it's obviously a needed space, and we're the only ones. There are other organizations, you know, there's a pool they can go to, swim on Saturdays, and the library does some after school. Kids can go there as well, but like we're the only ones who run youth programs in the evening for, you know, that are open like that. So yeah, it's a hugely needed service, and I think it really provides, like, it's a really positive, warm environment, so youth can hang out with their friends, but they do it in an environment which is safe, and, you know, there's supervision, and we're also running activities. So I think that it's, for a lot of youth, they're getting a lot of things which they aren't necessarily getting in school or whatnot. And we're serving really like a large component of the Inuvik community here, so I think it's hugely needed.
Well, that was our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. That was season 6 of SUAANGAN, Our Strength. Like I said, we enjoy producing shows about Inuvialuit. If you have any story ideas, don't hesitate to give us a call. Until next year, Kuyanakbak from the staff at the Inuvialuit Communication Society here in Inuvik, Northwest Territories. Until then, I'm your host, Dennis Allen.
For copies of this program or any other program of SUAANGAN, contact the Inuvialuit Communication Society at Post Office Box 1704, Inuvik NT X0E0T0, or call 867-777-2320. Fax your requests to 867-777-2744, or email us at swangan@northwesthell.net.
Right up the nose. That's some good wire.